Watching football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Michael Hall and Michael Reed. The Burgundy Zone is a part of the Frederick Podcast Network. You can find out more by going to www.listofrederick.com. Today's episode is called Minicamp Mayhem, so we decided to bring in royalty for this podcast, family member of this show, Mr. Coach Greg Curl. How are you doing on this beautiful Thursday smoky evening, sir?
Hey, the title fits Mayhem, so let's get Coach Greg on here. It's gonna be Mayhem, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now we increased the number that we want, right, Coach? At 25. 25 mil is what we want, right?
Hey, yeah, shoot, cut the check.
Well, Coach, we're waiting just like you are. But speaking of, we got to talk about camp, because during camp is when you kind of iron out things, you cut the loose ends. And speaking of that, Cam Curl cut off his dreads. And so was that a shock to you? Because is that a typical haircut that he would wear?
No, Cam hasn't worn short hair like that since maybe 5th grade.
Wow.
Damn.
And that was the last time he went to my barber shop, because he told the barber not to cut his hair off. And I told the barber, I'm the daddy, I'm paying for it, cut his hair off. So he's been growing it since then. So yeah, it was a shock to me, because he didn't even say nothing about it. I had no idea until he sent me the picture with a fistful of locks,
And I heard some people speculating that this could be a way of trying to get a contract or anything. You don't, can you just disprove that and just say Cam wanted to cut his hair?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the contract. It's just Cameron was like, I felt like, doing something different, and I mean, when he was a kid, Cameron had hair, it used to be down to the middle of his back. He would get braids. And one day he called me. I was coaching at San Diego High School, and he called me and said, Daddy, when you get home, cut my braids off. I mean, just spurred him on like that. Just nothing. His mom cried, and his mom and sisters wanted to kick my butt, but it was what he asked for. And it's just one of those things. He just wanted to switch it up. But I do know that we gonna be in store for something good this year, just because his mindset, the chip is still there. The chip is still there on the shoulder. He got the chip on the shoulder. He's coming. He's coming for everything this year.
Yes, sir. I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
And speaking of another person that's he's trying to come for everything this year, locked in, focused. You've seen the videos on Twitter probably of Chase Young. He's out there looking spry, running over the pads, lifting his knees up, looking like he's got his little burst back. What are you expecting from Chase Young coming up this season?
I expect Chase to be Chase, man. I expect Chase to still be the dude where offenses is going to have to plan against. Chase is still going to be the dude that if he don't get the sack, he going to push the quarterback into somebody else to get the sack. He's still going to be the one of the guys. That's like the only people I can really compare our defensive front line to is the Justice League, bro. Everybody on our defensive front line is a freaking superhero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So putting, Chase is he's just another one of the Justice League, and I expect Chase to come in and be Chase. I be seeing some of the comments from the videos, in camp and stuff. People are acting surprised. I'm seeing exactly what I expected to see. Yeah. He's a professional. He understands. This guy, he gets it. Trust me, he gets it.
Yeah. Everybody on that line is such a freak of nature. Just seriously, their workout numbers are all insane. Every single one of them just looks intimidating as hell. It's scary. Imagine meeting Jonathan Allen up the middle.
Imagine meeting Montez Sweat and he calls you the feds. It's weird.
Yeah, that would suck. Whenever that happened to, that would suck. Made Chase Young laugh at me. Thanks, Montez. That was cool. But so dating back to last year or so, has Cam talked to you at all about Sam Howell? And if so, what have you heard about him?
Uh, Briefly when he was home, we was talking
Okay.
about the quarterback situation, and he said he liked him in college. He watched him in
Right.
college. He liked him, and he was saying how him and Taylor Heineke have a lot of similarities. Like they real gritty dudes when they come to work.
Right.
That they not you ain't gonna make them quit.
Mm.
They gonna have they body is gonna have. He said they the type of warrior. You're not gonna make them quit, and they quarterbacks. And he said that's one thing I respect about them because they're not prima donnas. They're not they don't mind getting dirty, bloody, or whatever.
Absolutely. And Coach, Cam Curl last season took a big step, not only on the football field, but as the leader of this football team. Coach Ron Rivera and Coach Jack Del Rio both highlighted this about Cam Curl's game, and he was there for it was voluntary OTAs. He showed up, but didn't play obviously because of his contract. But obviously went through individual drills, still leading by example. Kind of talk about Cam developing into a leader, and has he talked to you about kind of being absorbing to being a leader to these young guys?
Uh, we talked about it. He did say, he's getting a little vocal, a little bit trying to get a little bit more vocal, working on, speaking to. Cameron is a hey, I'm gonna watch me type of guy. I'm gonna lead by example. I'm gonna show you how to work hard. I'm gonna show you how to study. I'm gonna show you how to get out here and learn these plays and do these drills. I can show you, but he's working on being vocal now. I can see he got a little coach in him, and I'm not saying coach me. I'm just saying I think Cam gonna turn into a coach, man. Because the way he loves this game so much, and he wants to be involved in it and teaching and everything, and the Cam not doing the drills has nothing to do with the contract. He would have to get into detail on why he's not, but it's more of for his body right now.
Okay, my bad.
It's his body. He's just making sure he's gonna be 100% once camp starts. Mini camp is over with. He's gonna finish. Going to the facility. He's been going to the facility at least 3 times a week, probably a month before mini camp started. Our OTAs started.
Wow.
He's going in, getting work on his body, working out, still sticking to his diet and everything. I'm telling you, man, he's the dude. The dude is trying to. He gonna be right because he stayed working.
Is music to our ears, Coach.
Yeah, definitely is. I love to hear that because, like I said, we're all expecting big things, and just to hear that he's already locked in, even before mini camp starts and training camp and all that starts, just shows that he's about to have one of those years where everybody's about to know the name Cam Curl. I guarantee that. But jumping back to the offensive side of the football, a lot of talk was about the tight end group this year and the early returns on Logan Thomas. Obviously, it's still just helmets and shorts, but Logan Thomas has been back to looking like Logan Thomas. I know a lot of people were a little upset going into the offseason that they didn't really address the tight end room, but I know we all had a lot of faith in Logan bouncing back. What's your thoughts on the tight end run this upcoming year?
I love the tight end room for the simple fact is that we don't have to rush Logan back like we did before.
Mm-hmm.
We can say, hey Logan, we want you back, but we want you back 100. Take your time because we got a little talent in there. They young, they learning and everything, but we got some talent in the tight end room. But overall, I hope nobody asks this question in the future. But man, I'm so excited about this offense because what this offense is going to do is going to elevate this defense.
Yeah.
Because when we can score points and the defense is, not on the field for 42, 47, 50-something plays, oh, my God. Yeah. I'm excited about this offense because this offense is going to score points. And the offense scoring points is going to elevate this defense.
We saw that versus Philadelphia when they controlled the clock, Coach Curl. Defense stayed fresh, and they were able to do their job.
Yeah.
It's always easier for a defense, especially one that's talented as ours. Like if we start scoring points on offense, that's been our problem for since Kirk Cousins left. It's like we've had no offense whatsoever. So if they can do that, look at. It's terrifying. It's got to be good. But so what are your impressions so far of EB? How do you feel about, I know it's early. I know we haven't even got to training camp yet, but he already seems to be making an impression on everyone.
But just elaborate on that, Coach, like as a
No,
coach
it's my
yourself,
question.
As a coach yourself, how does it, with Eric, and also with Eric Bieniemy's coaching style, is there any similarities to anything you have experienced in your life?
Yeah, but also answer mine, though, not that one.
Hey, Eric,
I'm kidding.
the whole Eric Bieniemy experience is exciting. How can you not be excited by having Eric Bieniemy coming to this organization to be a coach from what he's done, what he's proven even before he got to Kansas City? You know, he's been consistent and only to get better. And I think that his energy, I can see similarities. That I love a coach with high energy that gets loud. That's me. That was one of the reasons I had to stop coaching. You know, I had heart surgery and everything. I'm going to jump as high as I can, chest bump. I'm yelling. I'm to the top of my lungs. I'm celebrating. I'm getting in their tail. I mean, I was just really high energetic out there on the field when I coach. And that's what I love about Bieniemy, because the players are going to feed off of that. Not even the ones he's coaching. You know, it could be somebody just hearing him, and they're going to get that energy, and that's what we need. We need that live energy. We don't need to be dead. This is football, not a funeral.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Coach. Now, to wrap this up, I only have a couple more questions for you, but it got announced about a month or so ago that Washington is going to be having joint practices with the Ravens before their preseason game. Do you like this idea? Do you think the players are all on board for this idea?
You know, I'm not too sure about the players, but I would think a lot of the players that are really get it, look at this as a great opportunity, because sometimes you really don't know how good you are until you play against somebody else. You know, I know even with Eric Bieniemy and Jack Del Rio, you know, they're great coaches, but when we practice each other, I mean, we pretty much know what's going on, you know. So to get that extra practice, like a scrimmage, it's an extra preseason game, you know, or whatever. We get to really see what he's doing. So I love that aspect of it. Yes, it's another opportunity for injuries. It's losing somebody for the season. That's always a risk. Every time these guys take the field, that's a risk. You know, and because I saw some people bringing that up. It's another chance to get. Every time they go to practice, hey. You know, you ever walked on concrete in cleats? And we see those, you know, there's videos of those guys going to the field every day. You know, that's a freaking torn ACL waiting to happen, bro.
Exactly.
Because that doesn't happen more, right?
Yeah. So there's always a chance of injury. So I don't jinx it by saying, you know, hey, they shouldn't do it because of injury. Hey, we should do it because we get to learn a lot about us. It ain't about learning about the Ravens doing that practice. We're trying to see, you know, learn what we need to fix and go out there and fix it. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and going against quarterbacks like Josh Allen and company who can use their legs on the ground, it would be great to go against Lamar Jackson early on. I'm sure he won't, just based on where it's going to be in the season. Next question I have for you. You as a coach, let's try to take this away from you being the father of Cameron Curl, the starting safety for the Commanders. Let's look at this in a different light, just straight up looking at it. This defense was top 10 in the league last year, number 1 on third down. What are your expectations for Cam Curl and this defense this season?
Nothing but better. Our defense was in the top 10. What was our actual ranking? Anybody know? Was it like 7 or 8?
I think we were 3 overall.
We got up to. We got the 3
I thought
overall?
so. Let me double check. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I would expect this to not decline. You know, in no way. Heck, we getting a healthy Chase Young back. We getting a fully healthy Cameron Curl for once. Washington hadn't even had a fully healthy Cameron Curl. You know, so we got Defoe. Oh my God, Jeremy Reeves is so locked in, fellas. This guy is so freaking locked in right now. He was all pro special teams, but he gonna be pushing for a spot all pro as a DB also, man.
Right. They were, just so you guys know, they were 7th in points allowed and 4th in yards allowed.
Okay.
Okay.
So right in the middle there,
Yeah.
fifth or sixth. And like that's sort of my whole thought process here is with this defense is yes, they were great last season, but we can't take a step back. And if we're going to get better in anything, it has to be turnovers. And I know Cam has been biting at the bit in order to get more
Oh,
access and more opportunities with turnovers. And that goes into Chase Young and Montez Sweat being at their best. Last question I have for you, Coach. What is one autograph you wish you had? Because, fans are going to OTAs, they're going to minicamp, they're asking players for autographs. So what one autograph you wish you had?
Of current players right now?
It doesn't have to be current.
Okay. Well, there's two. There's one I'm upset because I had the opportunity to get it, but my source acted like he didn't want to be a fanboy, and I wanted the autograph of Adrian Peterson.
Right, one of the goats. Who wouldn't? Why, dude? I would be so pissed. I'd be like, fanboy. I'll fanboy if you want. Like,
look,
come
you
on.
have to imagine. Look at it from Cam's point of view. Like he's just coming into the league. This is AP.
Yeah, you can't ask AP. Yeah, no, you're right.
But
still,
I told him, hey,
like, it's AP.
Hey, man, my pop's tripping, man. My pop's want an autograph, man. He tripping.
Right. Put it all on you, right?
Put it all on you.
Coach acted it out and everything. Coach had the whole selling point ready to go.
Right now, I gotta get me. I want a Tress Way autograph jersey.
Damn, yeah,
an autograph jersey.
Favorite. Yes, that's my favorite pun in the whole NFL, man.
It's also such a good number too. 5 is just such a good number.
He's one of the coolest dudes I ever seen. I got to give me a Tress Way autograph jersey.
Coach, I was not expecting that, to be perfectly honest with you, but it makes a lot of sense because I feel like you and Tress Way would get along really, really well. Because Tress is a one of a kind. But, Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining us, as always, on this show, sir. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk with you whenever we're talking about football, because not only you being the father of Cameron Crowe, you coach the game, you understand it at its root, and I really do appreciate you for taking some time out for us, sir. And I hope you're there week 1. We're going to be there in 305. Yeah. Hopefully we're able to link up, maybe.
Yeah, we're going to be
all right. 305.
Mr. 305. We're Pitbull.
Hey, I got so many connections. I better be there on game 1. Not only do I got a son on the team, but Scooter. I'd have fed Scooter a couple of times. Scooter, Dejon Harris. He was at Arkansas. At least I get a
right.
Yeah.
My new adopted son, Jeremy Reed. Somebody gonna get me there.
Somebody has to, Coach.
But I plan on being there.
Imagine
if anybody know Tress Way, make sure he sees this.
Hey, you tell me, man. My goodness.
We gonna tag him on Twitter for you. We got you.
I got you, Coach. I'll tag him when
Greg
we upload
fainted.
This.
What if Greg fainted when he met Tress Way? He was just like,
Tress.
I might, yeah.
Coach, I can't thank you enough. Thank you, brother. All right, everybody. We just spoke with the man, Mr. Coach Greg Curl. Absolutely fascinating. I was not expecting Tress Way, man.
Neither was I, but it makes sense. Yeah, the dude gets
it. Coach, that's my man. I'm glad we got Coach on one more time.
Yeah. I got to go close my front door real fast. James learned how to open doors, and I'm just sitting here with the front door wide open, staring out into the yonder.
And it was absolutely hysterical. The fact that Cam just doesn't want to do autographs for Coach Curl. It's just, it's really funny. Really
I mean, look, I feel though, like you're a fresh rookie in the league. You got AP, like a soon-to-be first ballot Hall of Famer, legend in the game. You like, even if you are teammates, you're like, dang, no, I got to ask him for an autograph. Like, he going to clown me for this, man. Like, dang.
Right. I know, man, but
I would still do it, though. I would look
Pops needs it, man. But I understand Cam's point of view because he's like, I don't want to look like a lame, in front of AP.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're going to be in the locker room like, oh, you over here asking for autographs? Come on, rookie. Like, oh.
Yeah. And before we get into our fan questions and we start wrapping up this episode, boys, I want to talk about OTA's minicamp today. Obviously being indoors because of the air quality. Just crazy how the entire East Coast is under a cloud right now at the moment. But Emmanuel Forbes made a play on the ball. It looks like Sam Howell threw a couple interceptions, one to Troy Apke, who I was called Wolverine earlier. Absolutely insane how he keeps keeping his name out there. Biggest reaction from today at a minicamp, Hall?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything starts and ends with the quarterback. So just the fact that Sam Howell struggled a little bit, but I like that he bounced back and threw a touchdown at the end of the session as well. So, I mean, he's a young guy. Obviously, there's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs. I just want to see how he bounces back from the downs and the lows. So, all in all, I'm happy where not just like the quarterback position, but it just seems like the offense as a whole right now just kind of seems like they're in a good spot and where they want to be as far as OTAs and on schedule.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Emmanuel Forbes continuing to make plays. I know it's only one, but the fact is, you see that length. You know, we talked about for a while. People would ask, like, are you concerned about the weight? I would say, no, I'm not concerned about the weight. He has the length, and that's more necessary being playing
You like
corner.
that length.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
does.
does Reed.
Yeah.
I learned from.
That was the joke about you though.
I learned from the Paul. I learned from the best. Okay, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's
I got
true.
you, I got you, I got you.
I'm kind of the pod father of that situation. You know what I'm saying? No, yeah, but Emmanuel Forbes, it is. I will say, like I agree with what you guys say. I will say it is funny to watch Emmanuel Forbes in shorts because the whole time you're just like, this dude needs to get some scissors and cut those strings off, and then you realize that those are his legs, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, he is skinny. But no, he's dude. It's awesome though to see him make plays on the ball going up against Terry and Jahan and stuff. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that. You know,
I like that a lot. As do I. And
yeah,
he
looks
also,
like the Kembe Mutombo.
He was
out
also
there.
wearing that amber gold visor, which I absolutely love. Emmanuel Forbes on that actual helmet. It just looks beautiful with the burgundy face mask. Before we get into our fan questions, I asked this question on Twitter the other day, and I want to get your guys' opinions on this because I don't think that you answered it on Twitter. Read you either because
Yeah, I saw it.
You've been abducted by aliens for the past 72 hours. But
Is that you in Vegas? Those people were calling about. They said they saw an 8-foot non-human.
Yeah, that's just my normal form.
That was his fleshlight falling from the sky.
My eyes are huge too. The tentacle.
But the question I asked is, who is more likely to have a better statistical season than last year between Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson? So, Reed, if you want to go, who do you think is going to have the better statistical season than last year? Who's more likely to have that?
I mean, I just think in the offense in year two, hopefully, I mean, heaven forbid he's healthy the entire year. I think the obvious answer would be Jahan Dotson, just taking another step. Same time, sophomore slumps are a very real thing we've seen throughout the league's history. But I like Jahan. I just think that the EB is going to be so smart, I would imagine, with getting him the ball and having a strong arm quarterback like Sam Howell should really help him. So I would imagine Jahan Dotson, he should put up more yardage for sure.
Yeah, last season, Jahan Dotson in 12 games had 35 receptions, 523 yards receiving, and 7 touchdowns. Curtis Samuel in 17 games, 64 receptions, 656 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And Terry McLaurin in 17 games, 77 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I like the Jahan Dotson pick because that is the easiest answer for the question. Because
that's what I do, dude.
In only 12 games, obviously in 35 receptions, he was least targeted of the 3. And you know that usage is going to go up with more games played. So hopefully he does stay healthy with that. But I think the correct answer is all 3. Just because of the offensive system, like we've heard people say that they were actually motioning Terry inside into the slot and getting a matchup on a linebacker to get him free for Sam Howell. That wasn't happening last season. I think those types of route concepts and the play calling from Eric Bieniemy, it's going to make a big difference. And I think that all 3 of these guys have a very good chance of being more productive than they were last season. I know that's crazy to say because they were actually very good, but the fact is this offense still has room to grow, and we have 3 talented young men there.
Yeah, I do think that all 3 guys, I would say Curtis Samuel, his numbers might not be like the 64 range, but I don't think if it does dip, it might dip a little bit below that. But I definitely think that as far as touches go, is like him running the ball and like him being used as that gadget, I think that'll go up. So like he might not have as many receptions as he did last year, but I think overall touches, like running the ball and receptions, I think he'll have more. But yeah, definitely I think all 3 just because, like you said, Dotson's an easy one because if he stays healthy, just by default, his numbers should go up. And then you look at Terry, with 77 receptions last year. What did he have? Like, I think it was like over 100 targets, right?
Yeah, or 120
Yeah,
targets.
so I think with a little bit better quarterback play, a little bit better accuracy and ball placement, he gets up to that 90, 95 range with receptions as well. So, and that'll obviously, hopefully increase his yardage. So, he's, like you said, all 3 is the answer, but I definitely think that if you had to pick one guy, it would be Dotson just because if he stays healthy, his numbers should just automatically go up by default.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is the receiving yards between Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson aren't even – it's right under of what Terry McLaurin's total yards number is. And it being 1,100, that is a great number for Terry. But I think that Terry, under this play calling with a capable quarterback who's orchestrating the offense accordingly, I think he can reach 1,400 yards. You know what I mean? And that's why, even though he already has a big number, I think he can still get higher than that just based off the volume that's coming his way. I found this question to be really difficult because given what the system that they have with everything, it's hard to be able to say who is going to do better just because we have no idea.
Right.
Zero.
Yeah. I will say, though, I think that this will be the year where Terry gets like 12, 30, you said 13, 1,400 yards, maybe almost gets to that double-digit touchdown range. Just because even I'm going to like paraphrase because I don't know the exact quote, but BSJ was just pretty much saying that today that his offense has the potential for so many explosive plays. And like you said, it's all about exploiting the mismatches and putting guys in different positions and stuff like that. So if they can get the explosive plays going, it's going to be more points on the board, which would obviously lead to more receptions by the guys, yards, and all that. So I definitely think the potential is there for Terry to, like I said, he's already a top 10 guy, but I think people will start looking at him like, oh, he's going to definitely like one of those like tier 1 guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little known fact, Benjamin St. Juste, he's actually the one who started what's going on outside right now. So that way, because he really wanted to play inside the bubble.
And to paraphrase, what Benjamin St. Juste was saying is this offense now, they're running these route concepts and they're doing these things that they haven't seen before, so it really is catching them by surprise. And he said this offense, that they could be in 3rd and 1 and you would have a 40-yard bomb over your head. Oh my goodness, that's what we've been saying for 2 years. That kind of play calling is what we need here, so I'm very happy to hear that.
A lot less predictableness would be gladly appreciated this year.
And it was crazy that in week 2, the Detroit Lions were saying, yeah, we knew what they were doing, and they didn't change it up. It was weird. That was the second week, bro. But let's move on to our fan questions to wrap up this episode, boys. This is sent in from the Colonel, and this is a great one. He had sent me the link for an article saying Commanders are open to listening to trade offers for former number 2 overall pick regarding to Chase Young. So his question is, read, multiple reports lately. The Commanders are shopping Chase Young. Is it just a slow news week in the NFL, or is there substance to the rumors?
No, it's definitely slow right now. And I mean, they're not saying that they're trying to trade him. They're saying that they're willing to listen. I think you could literally, there's not a player in the NFL that a team wouldn't, unless you're Patrick Mahomes, that a team wouldn't listen to a trade for. Like, a team might offer something crazy. You never know. So would they listen? For sure. Are they actively shopping him? I don't believe that for a second. I think that even the dude who reported that came out and was like, yeah, I mean, well, they might listen to some offers, So.
Right. He was like, it's unlikely that he gets traded, is what he said. But
right.
They are open and listening to the offers.
Yeah.
I'm open to listening to an offer that somebody gives me $2 million. Is that going to happen? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very open.
I don't think
this month.
Yeah, I don't think that they are going to be willing to walk away from Chase Young at this point. I think that they are very well solidified with what they have, and they're ready to go. I think that they are set up for success here, and it is a slow week. Washington is coveted, especially in social media, because of how much attention we do give to things. So people just say things like this on an off week to be able to get some clicks, and usually it works. I don't think it's true. Just like the Anthony Richardson trade-up scenario that Mike Jones floated out there, I don't think it's true either.
No, I think it was true, like, back maybe, like, pre-draft and, like, leading up to that. Like, and at the end of the day, like you guys said, like, if you're not listening to trade offers on pretty much 99.9% of your roster, then you're not doing your job as a general manager in the front office, just because at the end of the day, it's a business, and that's how businesses go, and that's how the NFL works. Guys are getting dealt, and guys are getting talked about behind closed doors and in those backdoor conversations all the times. So,
like you and
like
I
you said,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was true as far as like, were they listening to offers like pre-draft? Maybe like, hey, if someone, like, I think they floated out there like a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah.
If someone's going to offer us a 2nd-round pick for Chase, like, yeah, we would think about it. Like, will we pull the plug on it? Who knows? Or pull the trigger on it? Who knows? But if someone's going to offer Chase for a second, you already didn't pick up the option. Maybe they would have thought about that. But as far as like right now and like this phase of the offseason, I don't think that he would get moved. And I know like Chris Russell floated out there, like maybe the trade deadline coming up in the NFL is like around like October or Halloween or something like that. And if Chase Young is like out there balling and like has like whatever, how many sacks, forced fumbles, blah, 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 that he could be dealt. But like, I'm thinking like if this coaching staff is in win now mode and like has to win this year,
Right.
and Chase Young is balling, why would they get rid of a player that's going to help them keep their jobs? So he's going to be here unless someone offers like some ridiculous, like outrageous deal.
Yeah, and only if he like has low production at that point would that make sense, and they wouldn't offer a buttload of stuff if he had low production. So no, it doesn't really make sense. But the next question from Colonel Hall, I want to go to you. He said, in hindsight, are you happy with our draft, specifically passing on Will Levis and Hendon Hooker? Do you think either of those quarterbacks will make us eat our words years down the line?
I like Hendon Hooker.
We know.
As far, yeah, I know, right?
We know.
I liked Hendon Hooker,
too
but
much if you ask me.
Yeah, but Kyle, don't shame him. It's Pride Month. Stop. Don't shame him.
I know, man. Be nice.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll make us eat our words because, I mean,
I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't care.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna get any playing time this year, probably more than likely because the ACL thing. But Will Levis, I don't think he'll make us eat our words. I think that if anything, he might turn out to be like Ryan Tannehill light, but that'll be like a couple years down the line. Just like Ryan Tannehill kind of revived this year. I had his second destination. I think Will Levis might have that same kind of trajectory. But like I said, Hendon Hooker, yeah, but at the same time, I understood the quarterback situation, and I wasn't really thinking they would pick Hendon Hooker anyway.
Yeah, with Hendon, I really liked Hendon Hooker coming out of the draft. I didn't.
Did you?
It would make sense that they passed on him. I'm glad to where he did go. It's a good situation for him. Do I think that they're going to make us eat our words? No, but it will be used against us if Hooker does do well. Like, Ron Rivera and company passed.
Where did he go again? I don't even remember where he went.
Tennessee.
New Orleans? Hendon Hooker? No, he didn't.
He went to Tennessee.
He went to the University of Tennessee, but he was.
I'm talking about where he got drafted.
It was
the Lions.
Oh yeah.
It was Detroit. Yeah. It was Detroit. Yeah, you're
Jake
right. So yeah, I mean,
Jake Haener in his photo shoot went to New Orleans.
Yeah, that was such a funny.
I actually like Detroit for him. That's not bad.
I loved it. Oh yeah, good for him. Yeah. I like.
But real quick,
go ahead.
Yes, I am happy with our draft. I like the way that it played out. But I don't have much confidence in Will Levis. I said it in the radio when I called in AWAT a couple weeks ago. I figured you're going to be drafting a quarterback a couple years anyway if you do draft him. So I'm glad they passed on him. But with Hendon Hooker, I like the situation that we're in right now. I didn't want to add in another issue and possible questions to come about Sam Howell. I like the way that we built our football team.
Yeah, I thought Levis was super interesting coming out. I had a little crush on him, and I think it's because his antics. Yeah, it was super.
He's
not
white,
like that. Well, yeah, and we established that, right? Yeah, that was the whole thing. But I don't think. I mean, I think Will Levis may have some success in the NFL, but I think it's mainly going to end up being one of those Baker Mayfield, Mitch Trubisky types, where it's just like a meme every time he throws the ball. It's watching him so far. He's already done it, and it's not even training camp. It's like, come on, man. But
it's not even training camp. Come on, man. Yeah, you're right. And it's unfortunate because like Blake Bortles got made fun of the same way at training camp.
Yeah, and Bortles.
Then they ended up going to the AFC Championship game.
I was gonna say at least he has an AFC Championship game to brag about.
Well, he's also like the coolest guy of all time. Blake Bortles is like such a bro.
Is that just because your boy PFT commentator loves Blake Bortles? But this next question is from Twitter. Scott Hartley from the UK. Oh, thank you, Scott. He asks, Reed, with OTAs over and training camp officially around the corner, who has impressed you the most and who is your diamond in the rough that isn't getting the love but will be a solid, dependable guy on the roster?
So, obviously, who surprised me the most, it's kind of, I almost feel like it's got to be Emmanuel Forbes just because I didn't think he would pick things up the way that he has so far, like going up against the legit number one wide receivers in the NFL and doing multiple things and doing it well, getting consistent pass breakups. I thought it might take him a little bit. And so I've been super impressed with him. And a diamond in the rough, man, it's kind of tough to say. I was almost tempted to go with Sadiq Charles if you would have asked me this a few weeks ago, but unfortunately, I don't think that it's going to be the case. So I can't even really say he's a diamond in the rough, but Cole Turner's been super impressive as well. I mean, I think if he just nationally, he might be a diamond in the rough, but to us, we know how good he can be. We know what he brings to the table. So that's stuff I'll have to think about that one a little bit more, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. For me, I'll say a guy that hasn't had a lot said about him, but I do think that he's going to be a name that we're going to be using a lot this season. That is Chris Paul. I think that he not being talked about so far is a good thing, meaning he hasn't looked horrible, But that being said, he hasn't, kind of garnered any sort of attention for people to talk about. But that being said, that's a good thing because he's at least doing his job, and it's not being talked about that it's a bad job being done so far. So for me, I would say Chris Paul. I think that you haven't heard anything, and that's great news.
Yeah. Diamond in the rough. I would say. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to go with Cole Turner just because he's getting the same buzz that he had last year leading up to training camp. And if he can stay healthy, I think he'll be a big part of the offense this upcoming year. And what was the other one? Like surprise player or something like that?
Yeah.
I will say, not a surprise to me, but I'll say Logan Thomas just because I think everyone was so down on him and just because the contract situation and everyone was so mad at Ron that he was repeatedly told the media that they were staying pat at tight end. They believed in what the doctors were saying, and they believed that Logan would be able to bounce back. And sure enough, the early returns on Logan Thomas are sounding pretty good. So not a surprise to me, but a surprise to everyone else out there that continued to doubt what Ron was saying in the media and telling the fan base that Logan Thomas is hopefully, if he's healthy, will continue to be healthy, is going to be good.
Yeah, if only the rest of us had listened to Ron Rivera's words about the quarterback position and the erroneous Anthony Richardson trade report. If only.
I wonder what kind of car Logan Thomas is driving these days.
My car?
Or what'd you say? Car?
You said what kind of car do I drive? It's like what? We're talking about golf. What are you talking about?
Dude, man.
That was so funny.
That was such a great night. Fred Smoot made it awesome.
He used to be a quarterback too. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did. Now let's go to our next
Virginia
question.
Tech, by the way, if you didn't know.
Yeah. And this one is from the Discord chat server. Our guy, Jeff Miles. This is a fantastic question, boys. He says, I'm going to create one more art piece for FedEx Field this summer. What should I do?
Ooh, one, don't assume
this is a major responsibility, boys.
One, don't assume my gender. Two, honestly, I feel like the Sean Taylor stuff is kind of like you want to see a Sean Taylor one, but I almost feel like you could just do like great coach. Like I would like to see a Pro Bowl hit painting. That would be sick. But at the same time, there's so much Sean Taylor stuff. You can't have enough. But I also want to see someone Joe Gibbs. Let's make the Hall.
Whoa. Let's make the what? Let's make the what, bro? That's weird. For me, Jeff, I love that you asked us this question. And because I was racking my brain about it, like what would be the most perfect kind of art piece for FedEx Field to kind of show, the change that we are currently undergoing. And I think, Jeff, the best thing I could think of is Joe Gibbs being hoisted off of the field. When I think he's on the shoulders of Mark May, and maybe it looks like, but it's this one here. When he's getting carried off. And just, I think that kind of mural would be really freaking awesome to do because I know you're very talented, but kind of showing what we need to get back to and winning and that kind of celebration. And that's what we need to get and do. And I like that a lot.
Since I was going to go something with Joe Gibbs, I will switch it up to something current. And since Joe Gibbs is like the face of like the overall franchise, just because he's a legend, I'll go with the face of the franchise now, or one of the faces, I should say, Harry McLaurin. And if you've seen on Twitter, like the little pose where he's like mean mugging after he caught the touchdown, and he's like kind of posing like I think that would be like pretty sick.
Yeah. So would a Darryl Green one with the Tootsie Roll coming out of his sock. That would be a good one.
No,
that was.
Honestly,
I mean, that was
Jeff,
like an iconic moment.
Jeff, you know what you need to do? You need to do Albert Hainsworth laying on the field in Detroit.
Yeah, no, that would be sick. Yeah, or Greg Williams and have a bunch of headhunters behind him.
Or you should have Jesse looking up with like the shadow of like Bigfoot's
like
big old,
yeah,
like the eclipse, exactly, like the Godzilla's coming,
the bat symbol, just trying to.
So Jesse knows the state with training camps coming. He sees the bat.
Yeah.
This next question from the Discord chat server from our boy Tim Towner. He said Super Bowl winning teams usually have a few Hall of Famers on them. I would say that KC currently has Mahomes and Kelsey headed that way. Is there anyone on the current Washington team that would even get a sniff at the Hall of Fame? As of today, I think not, he says. Reed?
Yeah, I mean, as of today, looking at it, I don't think so. No, I think the last surefire Hall of Fame player other than Trent was probably Adrian Peterson. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, no, not yet. But actually, no, I take that back. Sam Howell he's playing like a Hall of Famer. So
He's already playing like a Hall of
Or
Famer
no,
in OTAs
Troy
and
Apke.
minicamp.
Yeah, Troy Apke, because there's no white cornerbacks. You got to go back to like pre-Jason Sehorn. He's the only one left. He's the red panda of this crew.
It's Terry McLaurin, Tim, to be quite frank with you. Yes, he might not have the yardage or the stats yet, but longevity over time is what's going to get him in the Hall of Fame. I think that he is the offensive version of Darryl Green, and so I think Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with nobody on the current roster right now. If they turn it up to another level and start racking up like all pros and start being like a relevant team, because I mean a lot of it is like the relevancy of it. Like, is your team like winning and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you like one of those guys that they're like known around the league and talked about. But yeah, I think that yeah, not right now, but I guess potential. If they keep turning up and keep going up on the trajectory, I would say wide receiver is hard to get in.
Yeah.
I would say Jonathan Allen, or like just because they're like, or I think Deron Payne. I think if Deron Payne like plays at the level that he did last year, and like if that's the floor of his like what he can be last year, and he keeps going up, I think that he could be one of those guys, but probably not, to be honest with you.
Interior guys getting double-digit sacks in back-to-back years. That would be freaking impressive.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if that's the floor and he keeps going, then he's definitely going to be up there.
Good point. Good question from Tim Towner. This next one is from Chris Comerton in the Discord. Reed, he asks, I'm ready to extend Eric Bieniemy now. I don't want to lose him just from the energy he brings alone. Is a promotion to head coach the only way we keep him if he's successful this season?
I don't see it's so hard with Eric Bieniemy because like the dude should have been a head coach by now. If people like Matt Nagy got head coaching jobs from being with Andy Reid and being his offensive coordinator, it's just like, what is like, clearly Eric Bieniemy, he's good at speaking to the press, he's good at speaking to the media, the players seem to like him except for LaShawn McCoy. So like, why, like, how come he hasn't been a head coach yet? So if he has success here, if he proves that he can go from Kansas City, where winning Super Bowls, has the best quarterback in the NFL, he comes here, he has success, then the only way to keep him would be to promote him to head coach.
Let's be honest here. The only reason that Eric Bieniemy hasn't become a head coach yet is because he was holding out for the Washington Commanders. That's the only logical and sensible explanation.
I thought you were going to say it's because he's bald.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Well, yeah, that's
No, but I do.
Sorry, Hall.
I understand what you're saying, but if they are successful this season, I could easily see Ron Rivera walking off into the sunset after a successful season, like winning a playoff game, to basically say, here you go, letting you off, and that this is a great start off and a way for him to be able to walk away on his own fruition on a good note, you know? And I think that's probably the best way of this all shaping out.
Yeah, I think if the offense becomes like a top half of the league offense, like top 16, 17 offense, and we get into the playoffs and this is like a relevant offense again, then I think that EB will get a head coaching job somewhere else, because I think the defense takes a little bit of a step back just because we play better offenses this year, better quarterbacks. But if they play to the level we know they're capable of, and the offense is top half of the league, then more than likely this is a playoff team. And if Ron gets into the playoffs, more than likely he's going to keep his job. And if he keeps his job, you're not going to be able to promote Eric Bieniemy to the head coach, which means he'll get other looks from other teams. He'll probably move on and
I don't know,
bang
man.
back.
Ron talked about how he's in a better position, like being able to act as the kind of overseer of everything, almost as a manager. He's even talked about it, so maybe he's even eyeing that. And that's kind of where
but
it almost
you
seems
really
like,
think that if he wins a playoff game and then he's like, I got my 5th year left, he's really going to be like, you know what, I'm going to step away? Is he going to be like, I'm definitely
maybe
coaching
he has
my
had a
5th
lot.
year?
He has had a lot of stuff going on, like health wise.
What I mean is, like, he could be more so like the general manager, front office, moving to where he could still be here, but not the day-to-day tasks of being a head coach.
I guess.
I know this is kind of a tired rumor, but it does kind of seem like Eric Bieniemy's like being prepped to do something to oversee, just like with how much control they've given him on the offense and player personnel and stuff.
Now we're thinking. This next question from Big Tony Shivers Hall. What are your expectations for Fedarian Mathis this season? With how early he got injured last year, it kind of feels like he is a bonus draft pick this season.
You know what? That should have been one of my hidden gems. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Right.
Great question, Tony. Yeah, I think he's gonna do what we all thought he would do in his rookie year. Obviously, I know people were like all like mad that they took a D tackle in the second round and blah blah blah. I don't want to go back into that, but again, the early returns and what he's been doing in OTAs and minicamp sounds like he's been showing out pretty good. Him himself said that sounds like he's almost back to like his 100% health himself. So I'm expecting big things. I'm expecting him and John Ridgway to be the new Tim Settle and Matt Ioannidis of this team.
My expectation for Darian Mathis to be able to stop the run, just be that cog in the middle to help Jamin Davis in those relief times, and being able to come in and be productive if there is an issue at all, to come in and be productive for this defense, because we're going to need it. We didn't get to see him last season, to your point, Tony, but we have to be cognizant of what could possibly be the negatives of Fedarian after missing a year. It's a big question mark. I am really excited to see how he comes out, because we're going to need the help, definitely.
Yeah, and that's such a nasty 4-man rotation with him, especially if he pans out. But I'll just say he also has one of the coolest first names in the NFL. So
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Now we are joined by our next guest for the last little stretch of this episode. He decided that he didn't want to go to sleep at all this evening. We are joined by Andy Lockhart in the UK. Oh, how you doing, Andy?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry it took so long to get on here, man. I've had 2 podcasts back to back, and I'm finishing off here now. So good to finally speak to you again.
You're trying to keep
Yes,
up
sir.
with Burrows with being as busy as possible, it would seem. But we talked the other night on the bunker, and I want to kind of talk to you because it was news to me, the severity of Chase Young's injury. And obviously, given your background, kind of explain what you do on a day-to-day basis to show your expertise in this subject.
Yeah, well, my actual job is I'm a physical therapist by background. I now I work in like a doctor surgery nowadays, and I do like a lot of prescribing, injecting, and stuff like that. So I kind of do a bit like a doctor, but not a full-on doctor, if that makes sense. Kind of a
drug dealer,
half doctor.
right?
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Ryan Vermillion going
You know what I
on.
mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. 100%. That's what do you think he got his meds from, man? Do you think he got
Yeah, we solved it.
That's it. Yeah. So a lot of times when I used to deal with a lot of players. I used to do a lot of sports. I used to work with the Florida Gators as well for a little bit as well. About obviously sporting injuries and stuff. So when you look at kind of what Chase Young went through, basically he obviously blew his ACL, which everyone knows, which is normally the 9 to 12 month kind of period, rehab period, and you're back to play, and then takes a year to get back to normal after that, if that makes sense. But the thing is, what people don't seem to realize is that it wasn't just a standard ACL tear. He also ruptured his patella tendon as well at the same time. Now, that is a very rare incidence when you blow your ACL. You don't normally blow the patella tendon. That's normally they're 2 separate 9 to 12 month period actually injuries to rehab from. Okay, so he's got 2 really big nasty injuries at the same time, and plus when you normally blow your ACL, you tend to blow the actual cartilage as well, the meniscus inside as well. So he did a good job of it, put it that way. When he did he did quite a serious injury, and to be fair, for most people, he wouldn't. For most people, they wouldn't have been able to get back to playing again. So this was a proper career ender, possible career ender. That people don't really realize how bad his injury actually was, and that's why it's taken him so long. Yeah, right. People just think he did his ACL and that was it. And don't forget as well, when he actually when the surgeons needed to repair those tendons, they had to go into his other knee to get healthy tendon. So he's had surgery in his left knee as well.
Oh wow!
As well. Damn. So he had to take tendons out of there to repair the other ones that you've done on the other's knee. So again, he's had 3 major surgeries, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, and so in your expertise, in your opinion, how has he looked so far in those videos you've seen of OTAs, knowing that?
Oh, he looks sharp, man. Yeah, he's looking a lot better. I mean, obviously, like anyone can see from last year, he was nowhere near what he should be and what he could be, if that makes sense. And this year, he's looking a lot sharper. So it's good news, and I'm not too concerned about this. This brace that he's wearing. If that gives him the extra 1% confidence in his knee, let him wear it, because it's not going to hinder his movement really. It's all about confidence for him. So, and I can understand why his confidence would be dashed with that have a severity of injury that I think the Commanders try to play it down because obviously he's one of our star guys, and it's like we don't want to say he's close. This could be a career ender, you know.
Right.
And that's probably the reason why I've never mentioned anything like that. But yeah, 2 very serious injuries, mate.
I appreciate it, Andy, because that's phenomenal info, and that's why I wanted to bring you on here because it's eye opening and it's really crazy to see Chase Young where he is. But to wrap this up, Andy, we have a couple fan questions. Want to do a roundtable real quick, boys, rapid fire.
Quack.
From Tony Franchise.
Ducks,
quack, quack. If Chase and Montez.
Oh, he said quack because Andy's on here and he's a doctor. Damn, Kyle, come on.
I didn't even make that connection.
Levels to this shit.
Levels to this.
Quacker.
If Chase and Montez both ball out this season at 10+ sacks each, who do we keep, Andy?
Both. I mean, like you can make it happen if you wanted to, you know.
True.
I think, especially with the quarterback situation being like, no, if Howell is any half decent, then his contract's so low, then we can afford it. So, for me, yeah, if you can get 10 sacks, then I'd like to take both of them. If I had to choose one specifically, then I'd probably go with Montez Sweat.
With Montez Sweat.
Only because of the previous injuries and how long is that knee going to last? And I'm not talking like now. I'm talking, is it going to last 3 years, 5 years? Is he going to be a full, 10 years vet, or is he not going to be here in a few years? You know what I mean? So just because the knee might go again. So I'd rather take the chance on the guy who's normally healthy.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where you would pick the guy who's been there more productive, but both of these guys have a lot to prove. And that being said, I think it could be relatively cheap in order to retain them. So I don't think that you're wrong, Andy, by saying you could keep both. And I honestly believe that. I think that these guys like each other enough to the point where they want to keep playing with each other. We kind of we were going through hypothetical stuff with Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen. Not sure if Daron Payne wanted to play here or not. Same thing with Montez Sweat, but obviously now we know Daron wanted to stay. And we're glad to hear that, and hopefully we can keep the gang together. Because like Coach Curl said earlier, we got the Justice League on the defensive line, man. I want to keep the Justice League together.
Yeah. Yeah, the last guy, the last guy to have 10 sacks in DC was Kyle Ronick last weekend. You know what I'm saying? But no, I think, I like that. I think you got to keep both of them. I'm still super high on Chase. I still think Chase has so much potential but that knee injury, that is terrifying. So hopefully he can bounce back. But I'd like to keep both of them. Let's just keep them forever.
Right.
Not gonna lie.
Boys,
I had no idea where he was going with that when he's mentioned Kyle's name. I was like, what?
Come on, man.
It was over my head for a second.
What about the sacks, man?
Yeah.
What about the sacks?
Yeah.
No, but I think that I think they extend Montez Sweat just because he's been the more consistent guy. Like you say, he's been there. He's been consistent as far as like he's never really had like one of those like down years where I guess 2021 technically was a down year, but it wasn't like he didn't have like a down year like a backup player type of down year. It was like a down year just for Montez Sweat. But I think if they both get 10+, you extend Montez and you probably franchise Chase Young, and then you got to also extend Cam Curl. So that's why you can't give both of them a long-term extension, because I think that would mean Cam Curl would maybe walk. So you got to franchise one, so you got to franchise Chase.
I agree with you. Now let's wrap this up with a couple more fan questions. Andy, this is from Tim Towner. Nicknames, thumb up or thumbs down? C4 for Curtis Samuel.
Thumbs up. I like that one.
I agree with you. I
like
really
Dynamite.
Do like
I like that.
It's explosive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about
I like
Sam I Am for Sam Howell?
No. Do you know what the hell that means? What's that?
Maybe
Definite down. Yeah.
Dr. Seuss. I would say I like the
Green
like
Eggs and Sam.
Like maybe H bomb for like a Howell bomb, just because it had arm strength. So I think that would fit.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Hall?
No.
Nah, not Sam I Am. That's a little whack.
Yeah, let's keep this last one. Tim Towner. Time for the annual question. Hall, who is the most hated member of the media? Asking because Montez gave a 6-minute interview and was talkative, but gave Pete Haley and Scott Abraham one-word answers. He thinks the players know who the dickheads are.
Yeah.
You thought they were feds. Probably.
Yeah.
Along with you, Reed.
Yeah.
Is he talking about like hated by like the fan base or hated by like the players?
I guess by the players or the team. I'm
By
not.
the
Hate is a
players?
strong word.
Yeah, disliked. I'd probably say that Pete Haley falls into that category. And I would probably say that I think Chris Russell probably falls in that category as
for
well.
sure. Yeah.
I think Chris Russell's a really good dude. I think he's just very goofy and that he gets very angry, irrationally angry about things. But I think he's that one uncle that shows up and, is kind of throws stuff awry. But at the same time, everyone's like, it's just him. That's how I view Chris Russell. But I would say probably Darren Haynes at the moment, based on the Brian Davis story. Obviously, also, wasn't NBC4 the ones that kind of gave away the Commanders logo the night before they announced it? When they flew over the stadium as well. So I'll say probably Darren Haynes at the moment just because of the Brian Davis thing, but obviously they probably don't care. Yeah. But just trying to be nice here because I could say more.
Yeah, if we're talking like the D-list media members, probably Mark Tyler, but I know everybody's blocking him. But anyway, go on.
Andy?
Got to throw shots still.
Do I know?
No, he's
the
a nice
Dolph
guy.
Kleiman fella. Yeah. Hit him recently.
Yeah.
The dude that lives in Israel but gets NFL updates and leaks.
Yeah. They control the media.
Is that what his Twitter said? He lives in Israel?
Yeah, that's what people found out, that he lives in Israel.
Because he runs the media.
Like, how do you get
That's
an insider
random.
info, bro? This is weird.
Right.
Like, you're
It's
random.
random as hell.
That is
Very
random
random.
as hell.
Very random. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap us up for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, Lockhart. I know it's been a busy day for you. Go get your beauty sleep, brother, even though you don't need it. Your ugly mug there, brother.
Hey, do you work on these? Do you think you could make Kyle taller with the surgery?
That is a tough one, bro.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you use to put in their legs to lengthen it?
Basically, what you would do, you break the legs unless you put like a metal kind of frame around it, and then you gradually kind of put a screw in, and then you turn it very like a one turn every day. So it's like a mild millimeter, if that makes sense. And over
Don't let
a 6
him,
month period,
Andy,
you can go
Andy,
over 2 or 3 inches.
Andy, don't
Will
let
you
him
let me?
Don't let him lie to you.
It sounds
He
horrible.
doesn't care about the legs. He's thinking about something else to extend.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, will you
sorry,
let me
mate.
be the
Sorry,
one who
mate.
breaks his legs? I will Kathy Bates him from that movie. What is it? Where she takes a sledgehammer to his ankles.
Yeah.
I'll do that to Kyle all day. I don't
Oh,
care.
dude,
Yeah.
What?
No, Kyle's like 6 foot. I just like telling people he's like 4'10".
All right, everybody.
I'm
that's-
actually like the short one. I'm like,
All right, everybody. That's going to wrap us up.
Might need this knee procedure and this leg procedure.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap us up for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you to Coach Curl. If you made it this far, you are a champion for making it through. Really do appreciate you guys. Again, like and subscribe if you'd love to, if you like the show. We'd love to be able to hear from you guys and your interactions, either in the comments or you have questions for us. I probably forgot a question in the comments from last episode, but I promise, dude, I'll make it up to you on the next one. I'm just now remembering it. Andy, I can't thank you enough for joining us, man. You keep working hard, dude. Keep killing it on the bunker, on the 1 Point Safety Show with Scott Hartley. And we can't wait to see you and celebrate in Section 305, Week 1 at FedEx.
Yeah.
Week 1, mate.
Yes,
Cannot wait, bro.
sir.
Cannot wait, man.
It's going to be a ride.
It's going to be epic, bro. It's going to be epic.
Absolutely.
It's-
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like two
Thanks for
times.
having me on, by the way.
Yeah.
Of course.
2 times ago when the British game didn't turn out so well. Last time it didn't turn out so well because I wasn't there. This time it's going to be fireworks
Andy,
like
Andy,
4th of
Yeah,
July.
we'll see, Reed, if you show up. To be fair,
Yeah.
mate.
We'll
Good
see.
job.
You
Good
guys will
job,
see.
Andy. That's the kind of
We'll
attitude
see.
we need around here.
Maybe I won't. Maybe
That's
I
what I'm
will.
saying.
Maybe
And
I'll be like
Andy-
Mel Gibson in the
Andy,
Patriot.
you're on here today because you
Ghost.
earned it, man. So don't thank me, brother. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap us up for this episode. I'm Kyle.
Oh,
Does anybody know who they are anymore? No.
No, not even. We look like LA right now, which is crazy with all the smog.
Right.
Sure.
And it smells
East
like
Coast-
maple syrup. It's like, what are those Canadians up to? What are they doing? Those goddamn Canucks.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great, safe weekend.
And I'm Reed, by the way.
And you're Reed. Washington football.
I wish.
What's up, everyone? This is Kyle from the Burgundy Zone. We are releasing our own merch to support the show. If you want to rock the Burgundy Zone logo or you want to see Reed's face on your shirt, we got it. We're starting with t-shirts, hoodies, and zip-up. So if you're a fan of the show, make sure you snag one before they are gone. Check out the link in our bio on Instagram, or you can find the link in the description of the video. Thanks again for all your support. Until next time.